All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. No intro music this week because I don't feel right having the phrase flashing their pop tussie out right before we talk about what Sherrone Moore did. So we're not going to do the intro music now. We might do it after we're done talking about this. For those who have been living under a rock last week after we recorded, of course, as all big news breaks after we record, Sherrone Moore was abruptly fired with cause. It came out that he had an affair with his assistant and he got her pregnant, then paid for an abortion, and then he was fired. And then very quickly after, well, Kieran, what were your thoughts when you first saw the firing? We'll start there.
Well, at first, when I saw the firing, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Probably some, you know, back of house crap, which it kind of ended up being. But I was like, I wasn't initially super shocked, but then we kind of got to talking about it like a day or two later when stuff started being revealed. And then I'm like, oh, okay, so this dude is a psychopath.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into that in a second. My first thought was because I was driving, I didn't see the news. I got a text about it.
Mm,
And like, oh, Sherrone Moore fired, or Michigan fired Sherrone Moore. And I was like, I mean, for the Ohio State loss, like it wasn't a good
right,
game, but he did fine outside of that.
right.
And then I realized it was for cause and it was because of the affair. And I'm like, okay, yes, you got to fire him for that.
Yeah.
That's all well and good. And I even made a video about potential replacements. And I said, like, you got to fire him. And then it came out he threatened to kill himself to his wife. He broke into his assistant's house, threatened to kill her, and then himself, and then was arrested. And it just took a very dark turn.
Yeah. Seriously.
And it, not good. I'm glad it came out of it okay. Uh, I think that's all we're going to talk about, what he did. But we just had to mention that's what he did. But my thing with it is, if he stopped and did some reflection, and I understand it was a mental health issue, he snapped. It's not something he can necessarily control. If he stopped at the affair and getting fired, he would have a job in 2027.
Yeah. Very much so. I mean, talk about a fall from grace. Like, granted, you weren't necessarily like a great coach, but you were at least winning at Michigan, and you beat Ohio State the first you were there. Now you did end up losing this year, but frankly, that's fine. Like it wasn't expected. But to go from millions of dollars to a jail cell in the span of less than 48 hours is serious.
Yeah, and I mean, before the last 4 or 5 years, losing to Ohio State was just par for the course for Michigan. That's nothing unheard of. Yeah, it's not a great situation. Uh, I feel really bad for his wife and kids, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for him for the mental health break. I not feel bad for him for anything that led up to that, especially because it then comes out this dude's just a horn dog. He's DMing OnlyFans models at halftime of the Ohio State game that they lost badly.
Mm-hmm.
It comes out he's released from police custody, sees the story going around that he was DMing OnlyFans models, girls models, I don't know what to call them, and he DMs her and goes, "Why did you tell that story?" So, yeah, not a great situation in Ann Arbor. Really good job for the Michigan Man brand. And then on top of all this, Kieran, the HR nightmare that Michigan might be going through because allegedly Ward Manuel, the Michigan athletic director, knew he was going through a mental health crisis beforehand, called him into his office with no HR present, and fired him.
I don't
Not
know.
good. So, on top of potentially having a job in 2027, I think 2026 would have been a little too soon. Schools would have let that calm down. But 2027, he would have gotten a job. He did fine at Michigan. He also potentially screwed himself out of a massive lawsuit.
Yeah, seriously.
So poor choices by all involved in this story.
No, not by all,
Ex-
just him.
well,
Actually, he is the story, so fair enough.
But also, Michigan's athletic director, poor choice not having HR there to fire him. Well,
That's
again,
neither here nor there.
choices by people involved. And then today, you have the story, the University of Ohio, the Bobcats, after putting Coach Brian Smith on leave since December 1st and not saying anything, they come out, say, due to their investigation, they have fired him for, and I'm looking for the exact wording here, engaging in serious professional misconduct and participating in activities that reflect unfavorably on the university. And my first thought was, all right, are they trying to get ahead of something relatively minor in the wake of the Sherrone Moore issue, or did Brian Smith do something so badly that they had to fire him immediately?
Well, if it was a firing immediately, he wouldn't have been placed on administrative leave on December 1st and only now fire him. If it was that really that bad, it would have been immediate. I think there was probably a rumor going around, placed on administrative leave, found out the rumor to be true, based on whatever evidence they had. Or I don't even know what the actual accusation necessarily is, but to fire him now right before a bowl game, it's clearly bad enough, and they clearly have enough evidence to say, like, this is absolutely unacceptable, see you later, but at the same time, it's probably the right call by the Ohio University's AD and other staff. It's probably bad enough to warrant something like this.
I am going to say that this is the only thing I've seen about it outside of Reddit comments saying he bit a cheese stick instead of pulling it apart like a normal person. In November of this year, just a week before he went on administrative leave, he was reprimanded by the university for violating their rules about storing and consuming alcohol on university property. And hearing that, you go, oh, was he having like benders? Was he just an alcoholic behind closed doors? No, allegedly, Smith acknowledged that on occasion, a few assistant coaches all over the age of 21 joined him privately in his office after games for a single drink of bourbon. If that is why you're firing this man, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's wild. Like, oh, we're going to fire someone for drinking while working. Like, oh, belly up, don't fire me. Don't fire me, belly. Like, it's insane.
Oh, what do you got there?
Voodoo Ranger, because it's what I had next to me.
Nice.
No, that'd be insane. And again, if it's something worse than that, if this is the tip of the iceberg, I get it. I'm going to retract that statement. But you need something a little bit more concrete than he had a drink of bourbon with his assistants after the game.
Yeah. That would be publicly. That's what might get him fired, but for all intents and purposes, that's not a fireable offense.
No. After the if it was right before he was getting hammered or during the game at halftime, I get it.
That's unacceptable.
But,
that's different.
But yeah, no, that's insane. If that's the reason, I really hope it's not. I really hope they have something a little more concrete.
I did see somebody say, I hope it was just him doing blow in his office rather than the Sherrone Moore thing as one of the comments. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone hopes that. I think his wife probably hopes that too, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
here's some controlled substances, and that's why you're fired, not the single glass of bourbon.
Yeah. So, all right, Kieran, we get all the sensitive topics out of the way? I think so. All right, cool. Let's hit that intro music. They're eating the dogs, Kieran, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the dogs.
You know that?
They were eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next year is just just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to this school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God. That's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh,
Not playing that before we talked about the sensitive topic was the right call, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Kieran, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
It's true. Better week than Sherrone Moore?
Probably, yeah. I think everybody's had a better week than him.
Maybe not Brian Smith. We don't know what happened yet.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
But outside of that,
definitely did have a better week.
Fernando Mendoza.
Exactly.
The Heisman Trophy winner. A lot of people are looking at his stats and going, oh, he only had the 24th most passing yards in the country, while ignoring the fact he had the most passing touchdowns in the country.
Yes, classic. Classic misdirection there.
Like, hey, whatever fits our narrative.
Yeah.
It's insane. What do you think he should have won it?
100%. 100% he should have won it. He was the most well-rounded player there. And that's no diss against Jeremiah Love or Julian Sayin, but it's just the mere fact that he and Curt Cignetti have completely turned around that Indiana offense in a little over 2 seasons. So yeah, absolutely he deserves it.
Yeah, I think it was, and I think I said this last week, it was a combination of having the numbers and the story to back up sort of giving him the award. Julian Sayin, I think they would go in and they would just go, oh, well, he's still young. He can win it in a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah Love, you need to have a historically dominant season at this point to win the award as a running back.
Not just a historically dominant game. Like, the whole season has to be good.
Yeah, I do think if Marcus Freeman and that Notre Dame staff knew how to use him early in the year because they seemingly forgot in the offseason, he would have had a good chance to win it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Fernando Mendoza was a weak Heisman winner, but I do think he was not one of those super strong, dominant ones that we see every couple of years. So I think Jeremiah Love had a chance to win it, but didn't do it. I think he was the best non-quarterback. But yeah, I think it's fair. Diego Pavia.
Oh, though. God.
Yeah. Could anyone have come out of Heisman Trophy weekend looking more unlikable?
Seriously. He went from the eccentric, kind of return player senior who's going to lead his team to a championship or at the very least the playoffs. And you kind of felt that way throughout the entire year. But what a complete crash out by him, saying, F you to the Indiana fans, F you to the voters. It's like, wow, you have come from arguably us all rooting for you to us absolutely hating you in the span of a week and a half. Like, that's impressive.
That's very true. What you're talking about here.
Yes.
F all the voters.
Yep.
That's great. That's what you want to see. That's what NFL GMs want to see. I also think it was very funny, the picture of him with all the other Heisman finalists.
And the height difference.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that picture real quick.
Yeah, somebody's lying.
All right, I'm using Bing because that's just the default, and I hate it, and I'm too lazy to change it, though. But here's sort of the picture we're talking about. Like, he's listed at 6 feet tall.
Yeah, no, he isn't.
Yeah, no. Julian Sayin is listed at 6'1".
It's a pretty big gap.
And look, I get it. I'm not the tallest, but also I don't lie about my height. And now Fernando Mendoza is 6'5". So that height, but Julian Sayin 6'1", you are No, no, I don't believe it. No one
Yeah,
believes it.
yeah, no. It's I have to say, of all of those people, you know, Pavia has his kind of like, well, frankly, trashy swagger now. Fernando Mendoza looks like the golden boy in college football right now, which deservedly so. And Jeremiah Love is, you know, he's just a great player with a not horrible personality. But Julian Sayin, I don't think has a personality. He is the most
No.
blank canvas you could possibly imagine.
Oh, 100%. I think Jeremiah Love. I think you're undecided. I think he seems like a very nice person,
Yeah, just
and
he's good.
Fernando Mendoza does as well. And yeah, Julian Sayin is just a a beige wall that you have in your apartment where you can't paint it.
Yeah, it is a total character attack, and it's probably not what he's like at all, but just purely based on the way he was like uh like I don't know, I guess you could say presenting himself at the awards. He just seemed so bland. I don't know. That's a weird thing, but I felt like I had to say it.
Honestly, though, I think I'd prefer that over what Diego Pavia did.
Yes.
I've also likened Julian Sayin to a sickly Victorian child,
Yep, I see that. I
just
see that.
kind of with how he looks. We're gonna, and this is great podcasting for those listening. If
Yeah.
not, check out the Belly Sports YouTube where we post all the videos. But he just looks like a sick Victorian child. Like if I give him a Cool Ranch Dorito, his head will explode because
Yes.
he's never had that many flavors.
Straight into a coma.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
he looks like one of the British kids who got so excited they got all those spices and then so disappointed that they decided not to use any of them.
Yes. Very, very true. Very true. Oh, that's good.
So, yeah, and on top of that, Diego Pavia, outside of being, before he came across as cocky, now he comes across as arrogant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not good. I'm glad he had a bad weekend. I'm glad he did not win the Heisman. I'm glad he probably blew his shot with Tate McRae because with the begging her to go on a date with him, having Theo Vaughn DMing her to go on a date with him. First off, Diego, have you ever heard of Hard to Get? Look, I'm not good at playing that either, but you can't be that desperate. Diego, you are scaring the hose. But then on top of that, you are clearly like 5'8". And look, if you're a short kid, own it. Be
Yes.
up front. Yeah, I'm not tall, but don't worry about it. I make up for it in other ways. Don't lie
He's
about
funny.
your height. And he's funny if he thinks he's one of the best players in college football
Yeah.
history, because that has to be a joke when he said that.
Seriously, that's great.
He's giving this weird combination of Johnny Manziel with the cockiness,
Mm-hmm.
Gronk's stupidity without the likability,
Mm-hmm.
and a pit bull.
Wow, that is an insanely accurate description. I agree with everything.
That's really what he is.
It so is. It so is. And if you were to if you were to tell somebody that and they didn't know who Diego Pavia was, they'd go, "Wow, that person sounds like a dick."
And they would be right.
Yes.
So there's your Heisman winner. Congrats to Fernando Mendoza. And yeah, I'm glad Diego Pavia had a terrible weekend. Do you have thoughts on any other award winners?
Just very quickly, back to Fernando Mendoza taking home the Davy O'Brien, the Maxwell, and the Walter Camp Award. Feel like he was going for a clean sweep there.
Yeah. Yeah, he really was. But yeah, he earned it all.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
I don't have any crazy thoughts. I think Jacob Rodriguez winning the Bednarik makes sense. He was clearly the best running back or defensive player, Jesus, in the country this year. Caleb Downs had a good year, but I like Rodriguez, Bletnikoff, Makai Lemon from USC. I'm disappointed Bell didn't win it with him being from UConn and all.
Yeah. The one thing I'll
I'm
say about
shocked
the...
they.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I'm shocked they didn't give it to Jeremiah Smith just because of name in Ohio State.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. The one thing I'll say about Jacob Rodriguez, winning both the Benderek and the Butkus Award is the fact that in his ESPN profile, he has a mustache that looks exactly like Dick Butkus's mustache. And I was like,
Love it.
I don't know, like if he was trying to do that or like he just grew it out for fun, but it's fairly close, or at least it's pretty close. But I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
I mean, he's had it for a while, at least all year.
Yeah, and then maybe that's what he
So
was going
either
for. He's like, if
he
I
was
grow out the mustache,
manifesting.
he was manifesting the Dick Butkus Award.
True. Also, Bronco Nagurski Award winner.
Yeah.
Then Doak Walker, Jeremiah Love. I think he earned it. I think he's fine. He was good. Thorpe, Caleb Downs for best defensive back. Mackey, best tight end. Eli Stowers out of Vandy. Vandy, hey, a Vandy player who I'm not upset won an award. Then, yeah. So Ray Guy, Brett Thorson out of Georgia for best punter. Love that for him.
Wait, hold on. An SEC player won the punting award, not an Iowa player, not a Big Ten East, or excuse me, Big Ten West player. Outrageous.
Apparently not.
Outrageous, Kev. I want to recount.
Apparently not. The last 3 Ray Guy Award winners all come from the Big Ten.
As they should. As they should, Kev.
One of them gets a really big asterisk on it, though. It's Eddie Zaplicki from USC won it last year, but then Torrey Taylor the year before out of Iowa and Adam Korsak in 2022 from Rutgers.
Damn right.
And that's the farthest back it goes. Let's look at the Ray Guy Award winners and find the last time a non-Big Ten player won it. Oh, actually, the Big Ten is on a little run of theirs, or had a little 3-year run, but before that, the punt god, whose name I'm not going to say, from Arizona State, or San Diego State, excuse me, in the Mountain West, Georgia Tech's Presley Harvin III in 2020, Max Duffy out of Kentucky in 2019.
That's like an old English gentry name.
See, I just think Percy Harvin, the wide receiver.
Oh, fair enough.
Braden Mann from Texas A&M in 2018, Michael Dixon from Texas in 2017. Utah went back to back to back with Mitch Wishnowsky winning in 2016, and then Tom Hackett going back to back in 2014-15. Wow. Not a lot of Big Ten players have won this award, Kiernan.
That's insane.
That is insane. Do you think it's kind of like you said about LeBron a lot in the MVP? Like, clearly he is the best player, but we don't want to give it to him every year. Clearly the best punters go to the Big Ten West, but we don't want to give them that award every year.
Yeah, they've had to space it out. I'm just kidding.
That's fair. You got to give everyone else a shot.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to move on from here. Kirk Herbstreit, Kiernan.
Oh, God.
Non-ball knower.
Seriously.
Him and Joey Galloway have a show on that they go live on Twitter and they post clips. And he tweeted this past week, and Saturday, not having college football threw us for a loop. First off, there have been common conversations and people giving their takes that the Army-Navy game should be moved. That's insane, first off. Yeah. But even if it was moved, there was still college football played.
Yes.
I had my wife and I watching Stephen F. Austin versus Montana on Friday night. Electric game, by the way.
Yeah, seriously.
Very fun to watch. You had Illinois State versus UC Davis. You had a lot of good FCS football on, which is still college football. So to say there was no college football on is just insane. And they did go on to say, like, no, we more mean like we're home, which is weird but there's still college football on. So to say it that way makes it sound like you just don't respect non-power conferences.
Yeah, talk about missing the mark. I mean, from a guy who through all of college game day has been, I would argue, a very good proponent of smaller schools and talking about them and just the love of college football in and of itself. To say, like, to word it that way is so, it seems so on the nose, like you're intentionally trying to do it. And I know you probably meant the best, but it's tone deaf is what it is. And you're just going like, dude, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. I understand that Alabama and Oklahoma and Georgia and Ohio State aren't playing this weekend, but guess what? There's more than just that. The Army-Navy game, well, they have 7.87 million people tuned in to watch on CBS. That's a big showing. I will grant you, it is arguably at a time where there is a lull in, FBS level football. Fine. But to that end, there's still the FCS playing. The games were still a lot of fun to watch. Give those guys some credit. I get you're home. I get you're relaxing. But come on.
Yeah, and you said it perfectly. I think if he had just said that while recording,
Yeah.
it's easily explained away. I misspoke. I meant the fact we're home. That's what the tweet said.
Right. Which is worse.
He wrote it out, had time to read it, had time to ask other people, hey, you think I should fire this off? And still did it. So, yeah, it's insane. And I think this is a bigger issue with college football media in general. I'll admit, we haven't been the best about covering FCS football.
100%.
We are trying to change that. But also, we are two people.
Yes.
They have a whole team of people who can do the research, pick the places. And when you look at the game day schedule, it's like Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia. And it's just that on repeat. Like, I'm pulling up the schedule this year and where they went. Because I guarantee you, it's going to be not great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just have like a list for me, ESPN? All right, cool. They do. All right, week 1, Ohio State versus Texas.
Which is fair.
Fine, yeah. In Columbus. Week 1, go for it. Week 2, Michigan at Oklahoma in Norman. Okay, Georgia at Tennessee in week 3. Florida at Miami in week 4. We all knew Florida was not good by this point.
Yeah, we didn't need 4 weeks to figure that out.
Yeah, like so that one, I'm sure. Florida was 1-2 with their lone win being against Long Island. We didn't need this, guys.
I don't
go
care
some
that they're
other
in-state rivals. They're crap.
Yeah, I don't, and it's not either team's biggest rival.
Exactly.
Like, let's look at some other ones. If you wanted to pick a mid-in-state rivalry, Oregon State at Oregon.
There you go.
There's one. You could have done Illinois at Indiana. Both teams were ranked at this point. Auburn at Oklahoma. They just did go to Norman, so I get why they didn't do that one. Texas Tech at Utah. I believe they went to both those schools later on, but still, like, there were better options at the time, and there are much better options now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Week 5. Oregon at Penn State. Week 5. Okay. Fine. Week 6. Vandy at Alabama. They have to do their prerequisite Alabama visit every year. I get that.
You could have done it against a different team, not named Vandy.
Oh, look, if they didn't do Florida and Miami, they could have done Miami at Florida State, 3 versus 18. That would have been a good one. This week looked like it was kind of a dud at the FBS level. I'm not even getting to FCS. I'm so annoyed they didn't go to an FCS game this year.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Oregon again. Indiana at Oregon in week 7. You just did an Oregon game, guys. I feel like you probably could have given someone else some love. I understand it was a top 10 matchup. I get why they went. But would have been nice to give someone else a little bit of attention. Week 8, Ole Miss, Georgia. Again, another Georgia game. Week 9, Missouri at Vandy. Another Vandy game. Week 10, finally a little variety. Cincinnati at Utah. And then week 11, BYU at Texas. Great. Week 12, Notre Dame at Pitt. All right, mix it up a little bit. You get Notre Dame, but week 13, USC at Oregon. Oregon again. That's 3 times for Oregon this year. Week 14, the game. I get it. Week 15, the SEC championship. So, guys, do you want to maybe, I don't know, mix it up? You could have done Brawl of the Wild at some point. You could have done North Dakota versus North Dakota State, South Dakota State versus North Dakota State. Like, there were so many options for these lower level games to go to. Lower level in terms of the college football hierarchy, not in terms of the product on the field or the team's efforts. So, yeah, College Game Day sucks. They need someone to come in and actually pick a little variety when it comes to their visits, because then you're going to have your co-hosts not forgetting that there are other teams besides the same 5 or 6 every year.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. You brought up the same points that I was going to make about, like, we're just 2 people that are reviewing this week. You know, they have hundreds, if not thousands, of people working on their stuff. So, yes, to the fans, we have made this point before that we will try and incorporate more FCS schools and whatnot, but, you know, that's on us because we're only 2 people.
And we're doing our best to fix it.
Yes.
Next year, we'll try to do even better. I've talked about it. One of my mid-team next year is going to be an FCS team. I've made that decision.
Perfect.
So that'll be fun. If you want your school to be my mid-team, let us know on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. DMs are open. And you can do that at Quad Tailgate. That little ticker going down the bottom. All right. Moving on. As we're talking about these lower level schools, Kieran, Joel Klatt has some thoughts on the college football playoffs. He said, "We don't want Cinderellas. We want the best teams playing each other at the end. The NCAA basketball tournament is a joke. It's the dumbest tournament and the least fair tournament in all of sports." This is a football podcast. I don't care what he said about the NCAA tournament. There are plenty of things wrong with that. However, the fact we don't want Cinderellas, we want the best teams playing each other. Kieran, what are your thoughts?
Shut up. I do not want to hear Joel Klatt speak again for the rest of this season. That is the most tone-deaf, completely counter a point that he could have made at all. First of all, I am not a basketball fan. I will say that outright. I love March Madness and the NCAA tournament. I love watching a 15th seed upset a number 2 and then go on a run or something insane like that. There is nothing more fun than watching these lower level schools shine in the brightest lights and ruin it for a school that, say, is your rival. There's nothing sweeter than watching, I don't know, what was it, St. Peter's or something? Petersburg?
Yeah.
A couple years
St.
ago.
Peter's.
Yeah, St. Peter's. Upsetting, I forget who it was, Virginia maybe, I don't know. Point is, it was fun. And especially if you're the rival of that higher ranked team, it's great fun to watch it. So don't give us this, we don't like Cinderellas. We absolutely like Cinderellas. Cincinnati, a couple of years ago, under Luke Fickell. Now, that was really fun. Despite, yes, they did get blown out, and yes, it was unfortunate, but they're fun. And I think the disparity in college football between talent levels is a little bit bigger purely because of, like, the physicality of it all, where basketball, it's a little bit more level. Yes, we love Cinderellas. Yes, they're fun to watch. Yes, I want to see JMU and Tulane make it into the semifinals. I don't want to hear you talk about it again, Joel Klatt.
If has a point.
No, he doesn't. Shut up, Kev.
I think he does.
Nope.
Now, I do think Tulane is going to win this weekend. However, you mentioned the talent disparity in college football. I don't necessarily think it's a talent disparity. I think it is a size disparity that is
Yes,
the
yes, that's
issue.
what I mean. Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're knocking other schools,
No, no, no.
but in basketball, you can get hot. You can have one shooter get hot. In college football, if you have one player get hot, that's great. We're going to kill the other 10 guys on the field at a time, and you are going to be effectively neutralized. I I can't believe I'm agreeing with him. I do on well, I've said Joel Klatt cares about college football. I just don't like what he says. I like Cinderellas. I think America likes Cinderellas. I think the concept of Cinderellas is a little overrated, not overrated, but in practice, like, oh, we love this Cinderella run. And then, oh, they lost by 30. Well, what'd you expect? Why were they playing? It People like Cinderellas until the Cinderellas get blown out. Then they didn't deserve to be there. So really what I'm trying to say is the college football playoff should not have been expanded.
And here's the thing.
That's a point I'm always making.
And actually, if coming from that, just a pure simple college football shouldn't have been expanded. Yes, I agree. Cinderella should absolutely not be in the top 8. Do I want to watch Tulane beat Ole Miss? Yes. Do I want to watch JMU beat Oregon? Absolutely. Do I think it'll be fun as hell? 100%. Funnier still would be if JMU made it far enough to play Indiana and then beat Kurt Signetti. Now, obviously, that is a hilarious joke, and
That'd be so funny.
That would be okay. Arguably, that would be the funniest story ever, even if they lose in the final or however they place out. Anyway, to that end, I disagree with Joel Klatt. I think Cinderellas are fun, especially now with the NIL and how players can go different places. Yes, there is a funnel kind of up to the top with the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States. That's certainly there. But there is the possibility with these NIL deals that you could arguably make a case for a group of guys to be so well coached and well paid and wanting to stick around that they do make it into those final, semifinals and only lose by a field goal or something, and they play it really close. So while we've knocked NIL and we've been happy for the players to get paid and all those things, I think it's arguably in a better position for those Cinderella teams to actually make a run come 5 years down the line.
Yeah, no, I agree. And another thing I want to touch on real quick, a lot of people are going to point out, well, Kevin, you're saying these Cinderella teams are going to get blown out when we've watched, when there were 4 teams, Alabama beat Michigan State 38-0. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's barely 4 teams good enough to compete for a national title every year. Why are we making it 12? I still think if they really, really needed to expand, you do 8 or 10 and do that. 12 is too much. 16 is too much. And get rid of the Notre Dame automatic qualifier.
Oh, 100%.
Join a conference. My God.
Yeah.
Speaking of stupidity, Kieran, we talked about Joel Klatt, or you said it was stupid. I kind of agree with him. The ACC, their schedule for next year is insane. They did kind of do some stuff to try and fix the tiebreaker. Next year is going to be a traditional or a transition year. 12 teams are going to play a 9-game schedule, while 5 are playing 8. Can the ACC be normal? I understand there's contractual obligations at play, mm-hmm. and some schools have agreements when there were an 8 team. But Boston College, Clemson, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and UNC are all playing an 8-game conference schedule with a minimum of 2 Power 4 non-conference games. Then with the 9 games and 1 Power 4 non-conference, you have Cal, Duke, Louisville, Miami, NC State, Pitt, SMU, Stanford, Syracuse, Virginia, Virginia Tech, and Wake Forest. Kieran, what are your thoughts on the ACC schedule?
So I get it that they needed to do it this way in order to fulfill their contractual obligations, B, to have an odd number of teams within the conference, so it kind of like makes it tricky to actually schedule both 9-game ACC opponents. With that being said, Kev, is there a team who has often played in the ACC, has often played ACC teams, who needs to find maybe a conference that can truly test their potential and possibly, maybe, just maybe, get them a spot in a college football playoff by winning their conference? Do we know any schools that might be in need of that particular 18th slot?
I don't think so. I mean, it would have to be a school, though, that already has all their other sports playing in the ACC just to make it make sense.
Right. And that's it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm sure there's a team.
I got it.
Yeah, who?
I got it. It's UConn.
Ah, of course.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I think that's the easiest answer for what should happen.
Right.
Just join a conference, Notre Dame.
Yeah. And for all of those who couldn't get the reference of where I was going with that, get your head out of the gutter. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, you know what, Kieran? You've changed my mind.
Oh?
I was going to rail against the ACC for this. It's so stupid. I was going to say, they're just upset that Duke made it into the conference championship, and then they knocked out Virginia from the CFP. You know what? No, this is Notre Dame's fault.
Yeah. It is Notre Dame's fault, yeah.
If Notre Dame weren't just a bunch of cowards, then we wouldn't have this problem. Also, I did see something that was like, oh, Notre Dame being independent is because the other schools used to not schedule them because they're Catholic.
Okay. Kind of a weird
That's why. Boston College has been in a conference for 30 years. I think Notre Dame could join a conference at this point.
Yeah, I assure you it's not religion.
It probably was in the past, but it's not anymore. It's just Notre Dame wants to be special.
Yeah. And just to, jump off this point, the fact that schools are talking about freezing out Notre Dame to basically just not schedule them despite maybe benefiting from it is absolutely hilarious, and please do it. It would be so objectively funny that Notre Dame only has 4 games come 2028, and they have literally no choice but to join a conference.
I also think it'd be funny if the group of 5 got involved in it somehow. They wouldn't, because they would just get paid a bunch of money. And then Notre Dame could only play FCS opponents and then mess with their bowl eligibility.
Oh, yes. Oh, that would be great.
Stand strong, guys.
Yes, you can do this.
If we all do a little bit, we can make Notre Dame bowl ineligible, even if they go undefeated.
Oh, that'd be perfect. That'd be so funny.
But moving on to the big old meanies that just kept little old Notre Dame out because they're Catholic. We're going to pick the first round of games. This is different than our bets, but also these games can be part of our bets. So, Kieran, we're going to start off with the 12 versus 5, James Madison versus Oregon. Who do you think is going to win this one?
I am really pulling for JMU, not only because Oregon beat us this year and beat us last year, but because of the Twitter banter between JMU and Oregon. I don't know if you guys have been seeing it or not, but it is objectively very, very funny, where JMU is basically shitting on Oregon for like their highlights and things like that, saying they're like super slow because you know they've slowed it down for highlights and things like that, and all this kind of back and forth banter about how JMU is just going to like wipe the floor with these slow Oregon players. But it's not just that, and Oregon's actually just like letting them do it, which I think is a very funny thing as well. But I want JMU to win purely for the opportunity for JMU to play Indiana come the semifinals. I know that's ridiculous, but I want it to happen.
That's fair. That'd be hilarious. Is that your pick, or is that just what you hope?
Nope, that's my pick. I'm going
Okay.
riding with JMU.
I I, I want it to be JMU. I think it's going to be Oregon. That's a safe pick. It's the boring pick, but I just don't see it happening. Next up, you got 11 versus 6, Tulane versus Ole Miss. I actually think Tulane is going to win this one. I don't know if I trust Pete Golding as a head coach yet. I think a lot of players will have an eye on the portal to leave after the playoff run. Tulane is keeping John Summerall through the playoffs, so give me the green wave.
Yeah, this was a toss up. Like, objectively, I know that Ole Miss is probably better. But given the fact that you've lost your head coach and the other one has retained it despite losing it, will be losing it in the offseason, I think this gives Tulane a bit of an edge. So give me the green wave as well.
Perfect. Miami versus Texas A&M. Kieran, who you rolling with?
Do I vote for Jared or do I vote against him? I'll vote for Jared. Give me Miami.
I actually agree. I think I'm going to go
No
with
way.
Miami on this one.
No way.
I still, yep, I'm still putting the big F label on A&M until they prove me otherwise. Which, only losing one game all year they didn't do. No, so I think Carson Beck will have his 5 interception game, but I don't think it's going to be this game.
All right, maybe Ohio State or something.
Yeah, probably Ohio State. And finally, Alabama versus Oklahoma in the rematch. I said it was a revenge game earlier this year.
Yeah.
Guys, don't even think about revenge. Just win the game for my own sake. Please, for the love of God, win the game.
For no other reason, Kev. For no other reason than to just sit back in my chair and look smug as all hell. There will be no Space Jam rebuttal from Alabama. It is Oklahoma all the way, baby.
Why do you hate me? I'm nothing but nice to you. I give you a platform.
So you can spout your nonsense.
You just shit on me. Unbelievable.
Can you believe we're friends? Well, not after this.
No, we'll still be friends.
Yeah, all right. Sweet.
Okay, I probably talk to you more than any of my friends because we have to talk to each other for like an hour plus every week.
I am legally obligated to talk to you.
Exactly. It's in our contract. All right. So you have it, our round 1 picks. Kieran has James Madison. I have Oregon. Kieran has Tulane. And so do I.
Mm-hmm.
We both have the U. I have Alabama, and Kieran just hates me. So, all right. On to last week's bets. I had Illinois State plus 110 versus UC Davis. That was a dub for me. I had Army plus 6 as my spread, which was also a dub for me. Now, I got a little crazy with the Horvath-Helms combo of over 300 rushing yards. That was a no. That did not hit. However, I would like to point out they had 59 carries for 207 yards and 2 touchdowns between them.
Nice.
So, not quite as crazy as it sounds. Kieran had Navy over Army. That was a win.
Nice.
Kieran had Tarleton State minus 11.5 versus Nova. Nova won.
Yep, that was bad.
And he had Montana State versus Stephen F. Austin under 51.5. It was a combined 72 for the final score. So that was also a loss for Kieran.
Not my
Moving
best
on
week.
to we've had worse weeks.
All right, fair enough.
Moving on to Kiernan's weather report. Everyone's favorite segment. Kiernan, how's the weather looking out there?
Not as cold as I was hoping. Especially in the Northeast, this past week has been really cold. However, unfortunately for college football playoffs and bowl games in general, they are often played in warm weather down south or in domes, which is cowardice in my opinion. I digress. There are two games I want to talk about. James Madison versus Oregon in Eugene. It will be raining basically the entire time. 61% chance of rain, 46 degrees, wind not really a factor. The other game is Washington State versus Utah State, which will be playing at Albertson Stadium in Boise, Iowa. The fact that a Boise State itself is not playing in this game, I will never understand. I digress. But anyway, that is also going to be raining. Pretty much that northeast, west of the Rockies is going to be pretty rainy. Again, wind not really a factor. Other than that, it's mostly just domed stadiums. Cal versus Hawaii, which will be played in Honolulu. It's going to be windy AF with westerly winds at 26.1 at the highest. So that might affect that. I've forgotten his name. The Japanese kicker that plays for Hawaii. Kev, help me out.
I
Don't know either. That's fine. It might affect his kicking, which is kind of crap because of what bet I have next. But I'm going to say it anyway.
It's Matsuzawa. I'm
Matsuzawa,
assuming is
thank
how
you.
it's pronounced.
Yeah.
You mentioning Hawaii, I want to talk about this real quick before we get into
Okay.
our bets for this week.
Sure.
I gotta find it real quick. But Walk On Red Shirts tweeted, I had a random thought. How did Hawaii play college football before air travel? Well, I had to look it up. They played high schools and the military bases. So this is, I'm assuming, sometime after 1930, but before 1941, before December 7th, 1941, specifically.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it might have been 1941. Anyway, on October 8th, they played the Honolulu Athletic Club. Then on October 14th, they played the Hawaii Marines. Then on October 29th, they played the Hawaii National Guard. November 5th, the Pearl Harbor Navy. November 11th, Palama, which I'm assuming is a high school. November 26th, the Outrigger Canoe Club. December 3rd, Honolulu Town Team. And then they had a game December 26th. All of these were at Mo'olili Field in Honolulu. Can you guess who they played on that December 26th game? Again, on Mo'olili Field in Honolulu.
No.
Oregon.
Oh, that's great.
What is the why? Like, why it's, local athletic club, military, local high school, local athletic club, local team, Oregon. And I just want to talk about it because it was hilarious to me. They gave me whiplash, honestly.
Taken aback.
Yeah, I was, I don't want to say offended, but I was offended. But all right, now that we got that out of the way, time to talk our bets for this upcoming week. Kieran, you want to go first? I think I went first last week.
Yep. So give me, we're doing money line first. So give me
Yep.
Hawaii at minus 108. I don't care how windy it is. He will make those kicks.
Love it. My money line, I went with them last week. I'm going to keep riding the wave. I have Illinois State over Villanova at minus 118. Not as good of odds as last week, but you got to keep riding the Redbirds when you get that chance. And then I did say I think they'll win. So obviously I have Tulane plus 17.5 versus Ole Miss for my spread. Kieran, what's your spread?
My spread is Georgia Tech at plus 4.5 at minus 105.
The Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yes, I had to pick one of them.
That's true. You said that's plus 4.5?
Yes.
All right. And what's your miscellaneous?
My miscellaneous is first touchdown scorer, Ole Miss QB Chamblees at 650. Plus 650, I should say.
Love Trinidad. Both the country and the quarterback. My miscellaneous, they never do well when I pick them, so we're going to try a little reverse psychology. I have Alabama under 16 and a half points at plus 150.
All right. Let's see which direction the curse really goes.
Yeah, I'm scared. But quick recap, money line, I have Illinois State over Villanova. I have Tulane plus 17 and a half versus Ole Miss, and I have Alabama under 16 and a half points. Kieran has Hawaii minus 108. He has Georgia Tech plus 4.5, and he has first touchdown scorer being Trinidad Chambliss versus Tulane in the first round of the college football playoffs. Kieran, do you have any last thoughts before we get on out of here?
No, just excited for a very fun weekend of college football. It's still on, Mr. Herb Street. But yeah.
Well, no, there's Power 4 teams, so he'll know.
Okay, thank goodness. I'm excited for college football playoff. It's going to be exciting. It always is. So, looking forward to it.
I'm glad you're excited for the games this weekend because
yes, you'll be stressing. See, that's the great thing about not being in the playoff. I don't need to worry.
I sure as hell am not. Yeah, no.
I have to worry about Clemson and the Bad Boy Mowers pinstripe ball.
How actual nervous are you about that game? Or do you not care?
I literally do not care. It's sounds horrible. You know, coming from a Penn State, an avid Penn State fan, I'll say that. This season has been such a shit show. I actually do not care if we win or not, which I'm saying it now and it sounds bonkers to me.
So I used to be like that with non-playoff game bowls. Like I'd want to win, obviously, and I'd be upset if we didn't. But I was like, well, it's not the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter. But I didn't know if that was just me being a spoiled Alabama fan.
Yes, it is.
As with most things in my life. All right, well, everyone have a good, safe, fun weekend. Don't drink too much, and if you do, don't drive. And, yeah, roll tide, Notre Dame, join a conference.
See ya.
They're eating the dogs, Kieran, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the dogs.
You know that?
They were eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to this school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God, that's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh, shit.